Well, good morning, community. Welcome to Stroke of Genius Show Survivor Experience. I'm your host, Aaron Alba. This is a Stroke TV media production. I got a guest, a stroke survivor. I'm excited for you to meet. Her name's Janet Burl. I've had to read. um, it's pretty impressive. She is accomplished during her, after having a stroke, which was a which is pretty bad stroke. You're going to be amazed at what she's accomplished. And she's the definition of not letting stroke define you. So many of you, so many of us, not Megan and I was the same, were so big define me. It doesn't have to. Your life can be, you can have life as a stroke, but you're going to decide not to let stroke define you. So let me tell you a little bit about Janet Burl. Janet Burl is a hemorrhagic stroke survivor who lives in northern New York. She loves her family, the mountains, dragon figurines, gardening, dragons. Did I say dragons? Yeah, that's what they love dragons, writing poetry and stories, oil painting, animals large and small. Oh, and did I mention she loves dragons? Janet, no, listen to this. This part is really good. This where she did not allow stroke to define her. Janet has just finished her master's degree in creative writing. She's inducted in the Sigma Delta, it's whatever that is, I do ask her, International English Society, and National Society of Leadership and Success. Do you hear what she has done after a stroke? I'm amazed. Janet has been a journalist and won U.S. competitions and has written 2 children's books released this year. So again, after her stroke, amazing. So let me bring on, please, a bumper, bring her online.
Welcome to the Stroke of Genius Show Survivor Experience. Now, here's your host, Aaron Avila.
Well, there's a lady I was just talking about. I'll tell you, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you, Aaron. How are you today?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing, Janet?
I'm doing very well. Kind of excited to be here with you today.
Well, I'm excited to have you. Anytime a stroke survivor or see strokes not define them. You and I talked a little bit about that. I'm excited about it because so many stroke survivors that we talked earlier in the agreement have their stroke, and that's who they become as stroke survivor, but they don't have to. It's a choice.
Right.
Now, you've accomplished a lot. Let me back up to early days. Did you know before you had a stroke what stroke was, that the warning signs and all that? Did you know about stroke?
I knew what it was, but I had no idea of the warning signs. I had had headaches, really bad headaches for a long time, and my blood pressure was high, and I have delicate veins. They break easily. So I should have put two and two together and realized I was in trouble, but I didn't.
So, what were you doing when you had a stroke? First of all, how old were you when you had a stroke?
I was I was 50.
And what were you doing at the time when you had your stroke? What were you doing?
I had been baking in the kitchen and I needed some fruit. So I went over into our storage area. And when I walked in, all of a sudden my leg wouldn't hold me up. So I kind of fell to the floor. Then I couldn't move my arm. And I realized, oh God, stroke. So I called 911. I called my son. Actually, the order was I called my son, I called
That's funny.
the love of my life, and then I called 911. And by the time I called 911, I couldn't speak.
Yeah, I'm telling you showing you went mute.
Yes,
But I was also mute for probably 2 weeks after my stroke. But so you yourself called 911. That's
I did.
unusual. Okay. So that's pretty amazing. You were how old? You said 50 years old. If you're like me, I can't believe I'm 47 and had a stroke. I had a brain injury at first. But there are so many people out there that don't know what stroke is. We're like us, probably. We all figure if someone's 80 years old has a stroke.
Yeah. You
Not
don't think it's for young people.
right. And I've been stroke survivors. I like it. I've been serving stroke survivor community for about 8 years now. And I meet stroke survivors in their teens, prenatal, in their 20s, 30s, all the way up. I've been
Actually, Aaron, we had a young man in the school I was working at after the stroke. I'd worked there before the stroke, and he had a stroke and was taken to the hospital, but he had seen me and seen what I'd gone through and see what I did. And he is actually back to normal.
wow, fortunate for him. I think what's the reason I do this platform because I want people to know. Okay, I've got comments, so I forget about check my comments. Sorry, people. Let me pause for a minute. I forgot to check my comments.
You're fine.
I forgot to check my comments. So we got Sherry Patterson, and she's Niagara Falls out there. She says hello. And then we got Bryce, North Carolina. He lives in the Bayou Zone, North Carolina.
He was younger than me, too. He was only 42.
Oh, yeah, right. He was only
Had it.
40. Yeah, right. He was only 42 years old. I'm
Yeah.
47, you're 50, you're a little bit older. I'm not. The average age of stroke in our community of 54 to people, some about 40 in their late 40s, early 50s. We fall right in that category.
And many of them don't survive.
Yeah, I'm right. And we're not talking about the ones that don't survive. So,
If
I,
you're a hemorrhagic stroke survivor, you are one of the 24% that survive that type of stroke.
oh, yeah, I have a brain aneurysm. I shouldn't be here right now. It turned out I'm a miracle of God. There's no question in my mind. God,
Yes, you are.
God intervened. But Jen, I have a question for you. What emotion did you feel when you first came out of your stroke? What you woke up? Did you lose consciousness?
I did. I was actually out for 2 days. They said I responded, but I only remember darkness. And when I came out, I had no clue where I was, but I saw my daughter. She had flown in from Colorado to be with me. And that actually made me calmer.
Yeah. So, what emotion did you feel when you first came out of that stroke? When you woke up and you went, "Oh, I'm in the hospital." What did you feel? Remember that?
Yeah, confusion. And I couldn't speak.
You couldn't speak.
No.
You were mute like me.
And when I did first start speaking, it was inintelligible. I couldn't put words to things. I couldn't put words out correctly. Everything was mixed up in my brain.
Yeah, I know that one real well. You know what's amazing? I read your bio, and here you are, man. You got a master's degree, and you went back to school. But you told me something in the green room this first show I couldn't believe. You could not read afterwards, after stroke. You
Oh
had to,
no.
you had to relearn to read.
From picture books, little kids' picture books. And then I'd start reading the kindergarten and first grade books. And even then, I could read a sentence and then forget. I couldn't remember what I had just read. It took a long time. It took me 5 years of practicing and trying to finally read the Aragon book. Aragon, he's a dragon. It
I
was
know he is. I'm sorry.
Christopher Paolini wrote the book. So I was reading the third book because I'd read the first two before. And it took me 7 months to get through the book, rereading paragraphs as I forgot them, but keeping on going and a little at a time. And after that, I felt so accomplished. I felt like, wow, I had done something big. And the doctors never expected me to do any of this. So,
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing. I mean, you know, I went down to you what Janet just said. Doctors told her she wouldn't do anything. I was supposed to be a drooling, babbling mess. I never accomplished anything in life. I hear Janet getting a master's now an author, really excelling. But again, and Jen and I talked about this in the agreement. People, do not let stroke define you. Do not let stroke put you in a box.
Aaron, can
Yes,
I tell you something?
please.
This silly thing, my phone, was what started my recovery because although I couldn't speak, for some strange reason, I could type on the phone and talk to people that way. It was the way I could actually communicate. And they didn't know why. And during physical therapy for my speech, they wouldn't let me bring my phone, so I couldn't talk to them. But they didn't believe that it was a good thing for me to be doing. But I've since learned that there are two different pathways in your brain. One to your mouth to speak and one to write. And the one to write was destroyed with me.
You know, I know several people with aphasia, and we're getting to that. Did you have any sort of aphasia in the beginning or just speech?
Hugely, I had aphasia. I still have aphasia. Oh, aphasia speech. Yeah. No, I still had aphasia. And I still get it when I get tired and I can't remember words or how to do things or where I put things.
You know, I'm sure you've had this, and there's a really great friend of mine, a sister, has a stroke, has aphasia, and we together kind of went to the, she got a kind of a breakthrough where she's really focusing all her energy on getting better from her aphasia. In just 3 days of her doing this, Janet, I'm seeing huge difference.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing. And it's doing tongue twisters. So I'm going to try this tongue twister. She told me, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? So she's doing these tongue twisters to kind of help her face get along. So I want you an encouragement to her to know that you had a patient and have done what you did.
Actually, my tongue, only half of it worked. So words were very difficult. So,
Yeah, I hear people like you talk, and I'm just amazed that um, because you talk so normal compared to me.
thank you, Aaron. The kids at school, I was a substitute teacher and I went back to work a year after my stroke. And I still had huge aphasia, and the kids would practice with me or would complete my sentences when I couldn't do it. And they helped. And through their interaction, my speech got better because it was an everyday thing. I was a full time sub. So those kids mean more to me with what they did for me than you can believe.
So, Jenna, Tippy, let's go. Let's get back. I wanted to touch this subject. Why didn't you quit? Why didn't you like stroke to find you? What about you did you do to go on and live life after stroke?
I am very stubborn. And I didn't want my life to be over because I was only at that point 51. I mean, gee, I still have good 40 years if I'm lucky. So I pushed, and the pain stopped me some days. It's pain every day, but I walk through it. I walk through the 6-inch nails every day because I want to live, I want to experience, and I want to do. And now you see me writing children's books, and I also do poetry. I'm a as associate production editor of the Beezine, which is a poetry and prose journal online. I don't want to stop.
Oh, never stop, John. Honestly, your gift. Because people that do what you do. Now, I want you to notice people she walked through. It didn't mean she didn't walk through it. She didn't walk to it, a part of it. She walked through the darkness. And you can too. Jana did it, I did it, you do it. But you have to walk through it and not give up. You have to walk through it.
There are days when you do give up, and that's okay. There are days when you just say, "Why me? I can't do this anymore." And you fall into depression. That's normal. But the thing is, the next day it's always better. The sun's shining, time to get up and go at it again.
Yeah, I think that's really critical because I go through, a lot of people think I do what I do. I don't go through darkness, but I battle every day to keep my altitude from going dark. Because, like you, I mean, I could give up just as easy as I could try. In fact, it's easier to give up than it is to try to walk through this and to find your life at stroke. But, I think we can't let the darkness take us over. We can't.
No, because then life's over. So why are you still here? You're here to experience, to find new things to make you happy, to see the sun and see rainbows. If you stop with your life, you miss all that.
Okay, that's huge. And I'm going to go right down to my mentor that taught me this. And he said, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where we focus our energy, our attention, and if we focus on all things that are wrong, all things we can't do, all things that are bad, guess what? We'll be dark because our energy will flow there. But if we focus on what we can do, we can focus on the sun being warm in the face. I've been starting this therapy. My wife told me about it, and I've been doing it for about 2 weeks now. And it's actually making a huge difference. It's called sun therapy. I go out, I play Indian flute music, Native American Indian flute music, and sit in the sun, stand in the sun for 20 minutes. It feels amazing. I listen to the birds singing. It's great.
You're lucky. We still have snow.
Huh. Where do you live, John? New York.
I'm on the Canadian border near Montreal. It's only 45 miles away from me.
Oh,
But I am 2 miles from the border.
I'm laughing because I'm allergic to snow. I don't do snow. So, whatever. But, what would you say? How does a stroke survivor, say this stroke survivor out there that's given up, that basically really doesn't have life at stroke? How would you say that person begins to transition from finding a life again?
I think the first need is to learn how to communicate, which is why it was so important for me to get the message out that even though I couldn't speak, I could type the words and talk to people. And then the people that interact with you can help you as well, because if they stay positive, if they talk about the beautiful things they've seen, and just the idea that people have driven maybe 2-3 hours just to spend an hour with me. It was It was good. It made me positive about a lot of things. Even though I was bad, I fell off the toilet and in the rehab place, and I didn't listen. I'm bad at that because I thought I'd wake up in the morning and think I was normal again. I couldn't figure out why my arm and my leg didn't work, and I'd fall out of bed.
Yeah, I'm not that one or two. I've been in a wheelchair now for 13 years now, for now. I intend to keep trying to walk, and I will walk someday. In fact, I have a dream of running. The reason why I live in California, because I have a dream of riding a horse someday.
You will. I know you will.
Yeah, I think hearing you say that brings to my heart. You will because I know you will. Well, it's a decision. I really believe stroke, finding your life for stroke. What I tell people, it's about attitude. It's about mindset. It's about I can do. It's about being grateful for the sun in your face, warming your face. It's being grateful for the cat meowing. Being grateful for the birds singing. So today I'm gonna encourage everybody watching this show. Definitely take time to be grateful.
Yes. Do you know what I want to do, Aaron?
Tell me.
Well, besides traveling the world, I want to walk on a hike in the mountains with my daughter again. I miss that. And I can walk on flat, but when it becomes to rises and dips, I have a hard time. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm striving for.
it's funny. I have a desire too. Like let's call it bucket list, whatever. We have here in California, we have big redwood groves. Redwoods that are blow your mind, are tall as skyscrapers. And I have a dream. I can smell them to this day. I would dream of walking through Armstrong Grove, which, which is a redwood grove here in
Mm.
California. So I have the same type of dream.
I also have a dream to go to the ski resort where my son is working and he snowboards. I'd like to ski with him again. We used to do that a lot. My daughter, too.
You
My
know,
kids are very important to me.
yeah, I think dreaming is so critical. I know the people that don't dream. They're the ones that sit there waiting to die. Basically, they do nothing, but they've lost the ability to dream. That's where stroke has become their identity. Stroke has taken away their dreams. And what Jen and I are saying to you out there, strokes about you can dream. In fact, visualize and dream and go chase your dreams. You can't go on dreaming, right, Janet?
You're right.
I mean, it's really true. I mean, I think if I tell people all my dreams, which I can't because they get crazy because they're so big, but um, my dreams, my vision, probably like you, had what give me the fuel to get me excited and keep going, not and not stay the same. You talk about dragons. Honestly, that's a dream. A dragon is a dream. It's a mystical creature, and man, I get excited when you mention dragons because I've always loved dragons. I'm sure you watched my Have You Tried to Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon series in animated films. I find the film extremely great.
My
But
children's book series, Tippy Finds a Friend. Tippy's my dog that I have here. She's lying at my feet. We learned to be friends with a dragon and we fly. The first book is a flight all the way over to Norway and all the things we see. The second book, it's going to be the first book is going to be released probably in May or June. And the second book, we go to California and we go to a redwood forest and we go ski. Well, we go dragon belly. Yeah. But it's imagination is something that is so important, but it can become a part of what we are because we can see more than what other people see. Shadows become people that even our past that are still following with us. And a being can be someone shining down a light on us and saying, hey, you're doing good. It's all important.
Wow. You mentioned about dreams and how they really motivate you. And they really give you a drive. And how powerful our imagination is. It is probably I believe the imagination is the creator part of our brain. It's a part that creates. And if you can imagine it, you can hold it in your hand. There was my mentor used to say, if you see in your mind, you can hold your hand.
Do you know what my doctors told me?
Right.
They didn't believe I would do all this stuff that I'm doing. They said I killed the prime real estate in my brain. So I thought about that and I figured, well, if that's gone, I still have swamp, right? And desert. Can't do much with them. But if you drain the swamp into the desert and start mixing it, what are you getting? You're starting to build fertile land again. So I'm working on it. My desert is becoming kind of pretty now. Some flowers.
I think what I'm seeing your garden looks pretty good to me. But I want to ever wind you down the show. Give some advice. What would you give advice to a new stroke survivor just coming out of stroke? What would you tell them?
Believe in yourself. That's very important, and believe that you can do the things that you see in your mind. Do not let the doctors define you. They say after 6 months to a year, you're never going to get anything back. You can. It becomes slow. Not every month, might be every 2-3 months, but keep going. You will get there.
And with that's awesomeness. With that awesome sauce, I will say thank you, Jen. It's been an absolute pleasure to interview and talk with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Aaron, and thank you.
All right, thank you. So we'll talk to you in a little bit. I really am glad. Thank you again. Bye, Jen.
Bye.